Hi everyone, welcome back to my vlog. This is Susie from Thread Quarters. Thanks so much for joining me again today. Today I'm going to be chatting about my wedding quilt or long-term plans for one. So if you want to hear more about that, then keep watching. Welcome back to the vlog. I've been away for a little while. I've been doing a little bit of sewing. I had a little trip to Paris. If you've been following me on Instagram, you'll know all about that. I do have plans for vlogs on fabric shopping in Paris, also on a little bit of a capsule wardrobe that I whipped up before I went to Paris, so I want to share my outfits for that as well, so that'll be another vlog. So those will be coming up, but before I get to those, I had this vlog planned, so I wanted to go ahead and get it up. And it's something very different from what I have vlogged about before. It's quilting. And I know that I have quite a few viewers who are very good at quilting. So I thought I would pick your brains a little bit and try and get your advice, because I am not a quilter. I'm also, I have so much admiration for people who can quilt and all the beautiful quilts that I see out there. My mum actually has made some stunning quilts so in her day, so if that's something you're interested in, then let me know and I could do a vlog on all her quilts. Go over to her house one day and show you them, because they are beautiful. I am not, however, a quilter, and I have dabbled a little bit. I have made like a little baby quilt for a friend's baby. That was good fun. I did like a half square triangle made into chevrons, little quilt like that. That was cute. I did enjoy that. But just then quilted on the machine. It was all sewn on the machine. And then I started piecing together a quilt for my boy before he was born. And that's not finished, and he's now 3.5. So that just shows you my approach to quilting, unfortunately. And as you'll see from what this is about. Yeah, when my husband and I got married 5.5 years ago, yes, 5.5 years ago, I asked everyone who was invited. As part of the invitation, I said, please could you gift us a fat quarter of fabric, because I'd like to make a wedding quilt to as a memory, basically. And I didn't give them any guidance as to color or style or anything like that. And I mean, nearly everyone that came to our wedding did bring some fabric, because I know it was a very strange request. Most people don't know anything about quilting or quilting fabric, so it was a bit odd. I did give them some advice, and I linked to online shops and, you know, explained it a bit in the invitation, because I knew it would be a bit alien for people. We did end up with a very random mix of fabrics, and now looking back I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should have said all blue or something like that. But anyway, it'll hopefully be part of its charm. So this is my selection of about just over 50 fabrics, and they are so random. And as you can see, 5.5 years later, they're still fat quarters. So I need your help. I need advice as to what I can turn it into. I don't want anything too complicated. I will show you, actually. I did decide on a quilt pattern, and I started sewing it by hand, actually, because I thought it would be something nice to do on my lap while I'm watching TV, because I don't knit, and sewing, you know, you have to do it by your sewing machine, obviously, and I'm away from my family, and otherwise if it was in the same room as my family it'd be too noisy, they wouldn't enjoy that. So I thought that would be something quite nice. Turns out I would still be sewing it when I turn 80 if I did that. I have done a couple of the squares, so I'll show you them. The pattern that I had picked is called Spot. You can't see it there very well. I'll do a close-up shot for you. And I did think that would be really cute. I would make it bigger because I have so many flippin' fabrics. And I did do a few of them, as I said, by hand. And the other thing is, I'm not very precise with sewing. Well, I mean, I can be, but you know, there you go. So I did do some, and I did think it would be quite cute. I do really like that pattern, but I've decided, really, I think it's too fiddly. I need something a little bit simpler. I would like to sew it on the machine. I would like to get it done. Actually, one of my husband's friends, every time I see him, which isn't very often, but it's like maybe once or twice a year because he lives over in England, I live in Northern Ireland, he asks me every single time he sees me, so how's that quilt going? He's pretty sure that I will never make it, and it's starting to annoy me a little bit. So I would really like to get it made and done and say, oh well, actually I finished it, thanks very much, and shut him up. So yeah, I want to do it on the machine, I think, rather than by hand. I mean, even though that would be lovely, but no, let's be more realistic. And I think a quilt very partially done by hand is not as good as a quilt completed and done, and I can have it on my bed or something, done on the machine. I want it done and simple. It does, I know this is for most quilters, seasoned quilters, that is simple. So it's simpler than that. I have a few ideas that I have pinned, and I'll put some of the photos up on the screen for you of some of the ideas that I've come across. I'm just going to look down at my iPad while I'm remembering them, but I'll pop up pictures here so you can see what I'm looking at. One of the ideas that I thought would be really cute is maybe each fabric could be in the shape of a heart, because it's a wedding quilt. And I found like this one here that I thought looked quite good, or this one here. The other, I mean, obviously there is a wedding ring quilt pattern. It's too advanced for me. I would still be here again till I was 80 or 90 getting that done to a standard that I'd be happy with. So I'm not going to be doing that one, although, you know, that would be like your traditional one that would work perfectly with having this pile of fabrics. Or, you know, something really scrappy, like maybe this as like a scrappy one, because all the fabrics are so uncohesive that I feel that scrappy would work better. So if you have other ideas of scrappy quilts, that would be good. I do like the idea of including white into it. I don't have to use the full fat quarter of every piece of fabric. I just want to have one, you know, even one piece of it per fat quarter used. That's fine. It doesn't, I don't have to use it all up because obviously the quilt would be enormous. As I said, I'm trying to keep it really simple. Just something with triangles, maybe that one would be good. I also do like this one that's just squares but set on the diagonal. I do think that one's really nice and simple-ish. What do you guys think? Yeah, so that's some of the ideas I have. I'm struggling to start, and I think once I start and just get in the flow, I think it probably would come together really quickly, but I think I just don't know which pattern to go with. I'll just show you some of the different fabrics. The fun thing was that because I didn't give anyone any guidance as to what type of fabric to gift us. We've had a real range of things and people have interpreted it in different ways. So for example, some people have tried to pick a fabric that represented either myself or my husband, you know, depending on whether they were like my friend or his friend coming to the wedding. So like if it was representing me, there's a fabric here with cats on it. There's fabric with spools of thread because they know I love to sew, or if they were my husband's friend, it was a like sailing related fabric, or one of my friends from the work that I was currently working at when I was getting married, I did a lot of international travel, so there's a fabric in here that has like like travel scenes and that kind of thing, and it's very cute actually. And there's another one of camper vans because I used to be really into camper vans, so I love that they did that. Or so they took a different slant and they actually have given us fabric that represents themselves. So for example, my aunt and uncle, I have an aunt and uncle that live in Spain, and their fabric, they say, reminded them of like Spanish fans, so I thought that was really nice. Someone else has actually given us like some interior fabric that is in their own home, which is a lovely idea. It does mean that it's a different weight from quilting cotton, but doesn't matter. And then this one, actually, I really think this is so lovely. It's just a tiny little square of red fabric, so not a fat quarter, and it's like a tweed rather than a quilting cotton. And it says, this fabric has been over the Atlantic twice, as it was in our chest that my great-great-grandmother had taken from Northern Ireland years ago. I hope the red symbolises the love and passion that will be in your life forever. Which is just so lovely. And as I say, it's just a tiny wee piece. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to try and like cut a heart shape out of it and applique that onto maybe the back of the quilt, and just like in the corner or something like that. I thought that would be very nice. Now you see I've pinned this to that fabric because as you know, as I've said, our wedding was 5.5 years ago. So thankfully when I first got all these fabrics in, I cut tiny little corners out of all of them, and I pinned the fabric to a name so I could remember exactly who the fabric came from. So so I'm so glad that I did that. So the other thing I want to be able to do in the quilt somehow is to identify, once the quilt's made up, who each of the fabrics came from. One of my ideas that I have is on the back, I'd like it to be mainly like a plain colour, probably white or something like that, but piece it so that I have like, I don't know, I want to say a ladder, I don't know, little squares all joined together in a big long line down the back of the quilt of each of the fabrics, and then it would be white beside it, and maybe with a fabric pen write their names beside each of them. I mean, I could say I would embroider the names on it, but let's be realistic, I'm not going to do that. My embroidery skills are not good enough. It would be too messy. Even my handwriting's a bit messy, to be honest. So if you can think of a different way, please don't ask me to go and get in touch with them all to get them to sign a piece of fabric, because that's not going to be possible. I know that's what a lot of people do with wedding quilts. I decided not to do that because, again, everyone has very different handwriting, and again, it would be quite messy. So I've seen them, and it's not for me, but I do really like that sentiment. It's very, very nice. So that's the solution I have at the moment for having like a key, if you want to call it, on the back of the quilt as to who gave which fabric. But again, maybe you guys have another idea for that. So yeah, so also I have a new camera, so I'm hoping that this video is a lot crisper and like maybe HD. Woo! Might mean you see my wrinkles a bit more. But it also, I do have a little screen right above the lens, so I more than likely have been looking into that rather than into the lens during this video, so I really do apologize. I need to practice and get used to not looking at myself. So yeah, as I say, I'm sorry about that if that's what I have been doing. I'll know when I edit this if I have been. So yeah, but hopefully it means that I will have a slightly better quality videos for you in the future. Yay! So anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. As I say, I've got fabric shopping in Paris coming up soon, and also a little French travel capsule wardrobe video that will be coming up as well. I am also I've got so many video plans and not enough time, and I really think I'm coming down with a cold, and my son has chickenpox at the moment, so it's all happening. But yeah, I also definitely plan to do a tutorial on my curved hems on my gable tops, so because a lot of people have asked for that, so that will be coming up really soon as well. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those, that's what I'm trying to say. If you don't want to miss out on any of those, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Right, guys, thanks again for watching, and I can't wait to hear all your comments and suggestions on what I should do with all of this fabric. See you soon. Bye.